is a guy that most people probably are not going to be like super familiar with unless, you know, you're a Kentucky fan. And Adou Thiero from Kentucky is somebody who, as soon as I watched him at Global Jam, I was like, this is my guy in this draft cycle. Like, I love this dude. He's going to be a sophomore for Kentucky this year. He didn't play too much as a freshman, but if you watch those Global Jam games, like, this kid has got some shit to him, man. Like, he really has some funk, and he's one of these guys who late growth spurt, like, recruited as a point guard, like the body transformation on him. People that I've spoken to behind the scenes have told me that people within Kentucky believe he's not done growing yet. So this is a guy who right now, I think he's about 6'6", that you can envision, like, if this kid gets to 6'8", now we're talking about like one of these crazy versatile wings. So what was your first impression of Thiero?
Well, first off, Corey, when you first brought up Thiero, I think it was a couple of weeks back in our group chat, I did a little deep dive. I watched his freshman season at Kentucky, which took me about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. Didn't play much for Kentucky last season, right? So essentially it was like a redshirt freshman year for him. But something that needs to be mentioned is from the time that he arrived in Kentucky till now, it's been reported that he's added about like 37 pounds. Just pretty insane. I've seen photos online of what he looked like when he first got there to what he looks like now, and it's like incredible how much mass he's added. So he's kind of he's like, you look at Thiero and then you go, okay, hopefully AJ Johnson can have that type of transformation as well. You know, maybe not 37 pounds, but even if it's like 17 pounds, we'll take that. But yeah, okay. So the first thing with Thiero is that this guy is in some ways, not a 1-for-1, but in some ways he feels like a modern day Junkyard Dog for me with how hard he plays. This is a guy that
shout out Jerome Robinson.
Yeah, Jerome Williams. But
Jerome Williams, sorry.
Yeah.
not the Clippers bust.
I was like, very different comp. But no, just watching him play, it's like, okay, here's a guy that cares about winning basketball, a guy that really likes to compete, a guy that is not afraid of physicality. He likes bumping into guys full power, and he enjoys watching them fly to the ground. He could have been a really good football player. Just, you know, if you look at his physicality, but also Corey, I've seen online that some people think that he's already grown to 6'7", 6'8". And why Calipari has talked about playing him a little bit at the 4 this season because of, you know, that continued growth. But yeah, Corey, I think the first initial thing that jumps off the page is the competitive spirit this guy has. Like, he plays really, really, really hard. And on the defensive side of the ball, I thought there were a lot of things to like, but I think this is a good place for, you know, you to kind of take over. I had some questions about his offense, right? But I would like to hear kind of, because I haven't even heard like why you like him. So this might be a good time to kind of hand it over.
So I think this is a guy that if you're just like on Synergy watching clips of DJ Wagner and Justin Edwards, like, you miss on. Like, if you're not watching full games, you're not going to notice a guy like this necessarily. But when you watch the tape, there is this like undeniable feeling that you have as far as like how he can impact the game in a whole bunch of ways. And he's just one of these guys that, like, you just saw it on the clip here, like running in for the putback, you know, finish. Like, he just makes winning plays all over the court. Like you said, he finishes through physicality. Like, he is fine with you trying to contest his shot. He's got this really nice hang time in the air, and he'll finish through that contact. You are not going to bump him off the spot. And if you do, like, it was a hard foul, he's going to the line and he's going to get right back up. There's a toughness to him. And when I look at all of the things that he offers, you see the shades of the point guard that he was recruited as, because I think that he's a crafty passer. He'll throw a hit ahead. He'll find cutters. I don't think that he's a guy at Kentucky that you're going to see like initiating pick and roll, like you said. Like I think he's somebody who's more of like a 3. They're going to utilize him as like a 3-4, but like a toolsy one. So you're going to see flashes of those passes, and like it wouldn't shock me at the next level if you do see him running pick and roll. But he's a guy that I think is going to attack closeouts, get downhill to attack the hoop, and he'll go and finish. But he's also perfectly fine making that kick out, and I think he's got a high IQ, a good feel for the game. Offensively, and he just does all the little things that are really going to stand out. The shot is the swing skill, right?
Yes.
Like he shot 33% last year on really low volume, 70% at the line. I think he maybe hit 1-3 at Global Jam in the 4 games. So you got to buy into the shot a little bit for him to be like a lottery riser of sorts. You know, like, because I think he's a top 20 guy on my board coming into the year, like maybe even a top 50, like probably a top 15 guy. Sure. I think that there's a chance at the end of the year he's the second best prospect on Kentucky. And I know you're like, oh, they got Rob Dillingham, they have DJ Wagner. Just like I just think that this is a guy that he doesn't have to be a superstar. Yeah. So maybe you don't draft him so high because of that. But when we talk about like what a guy like him can offer the next level, I just think he does so much. You see him moving off the ball here, cutting in for the dunk. Like he doesn't need the ball in his hands, but he can play with it. So as long as he just knocks down spot up shots, we're not going to see him at Kentucky next year, shooting off the bounce shots, knocking down threes when guys go under pick. That's not what we're going to see. But if he is just adequately knocking down open spot up jumpers, that'll allow teams to force him to put the ball on the deck, like where they just got to they're going to close out to him. He's going to be able to take advantage of that and use all of the skills that he has. So also great offensive rebounder. Like, he sneaks in, like, and then defensively, like, I think he can guard multiple positions. He's strong enough with all that mass he talks about him putting on that he's going to be able to guard up. He's got quick hands. And then the weak side rim protection stuff is sick. Like he has such great instincts. Like, I was telling you beforehand, the reason we're only doing highlights and not clips in this episode is, my computer is just acting up and I couldn't transfer the clips. But there's this one possession, it's like a 30-something second clip where he is just doing everything defensively, starting out like on the ball, switching, getting down into help position, walls off a drive, then they have to kick the ball back out, swings to the opposite side, and he comes over on the help side and just sends the ball into the stands. Like he is just one of these Swiss Army knife guys that I just buy. And I think that when I look at the shot, like it's a little bit disjointed, sure. And like it doesn't always move synergistically, but I think that each individual aspect of it is like workable enough and smooth enough. Like it doesn't seem like it's a touch issue necessarily. It just seems like let's get this guy some reps, which he didn't really have last year. So he's so fun. And I just think he's going to be one of those guys that you can't keep off the floor because he impacts the game in too many ways. And it doesn't matter if, Kentucky wants to play, Bradshaw and Avicic, at the 4 and the 5, he could slide to the 3, like if Edwards is on the floor playing the 3, like, I don't put him in the backcourt. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, just put him on the court and let him be a basketball player.
No, that was a great answer. I think for me, Corey, like the main thing that I wanted to hear from you was like where you saw his upside, right? And I think for me, the biggest thing that I wrote in my notes is like, I think right now he's further along defensively than he is offensively, which is okay. That's not like a terrible, that's not me, putting an indictment on his career saying he's never going to be an offensive player. I just loved what I saw defensively. I love the activity, like we said, the competition, the size, the length, the strength, all that stuff was there. And then what you talked about, right, instinctually with him was really, really good. I think for me with the shot, what I did right here is I am a little bit worried about the shot. I felt like there were a lot of moving parts. I felt like his follow through was kind of going a hard right on a lot of his shots, kind of like a gooseneck, but like one that's like looking over its right shoulder, was kind of something I put there. But the thing you said, Corey, like the influential aspect, watching the global jam, whatever, Also, why do they spell it like that? Global. Was something that I was thinking about. But I 100% agree, man. Watching those games, like you feel his influence on the court. Last week, Paige clipped a little thing of me talking about Elliot Cadeau and him being an influential player. I think Thiero's also an influential player, just a different type of influence, right? Where Cadeau is kind of like a puppeteer. What do you call it? A marionette? Whatever,
Yeah,
the people that pull the string, right?
Marionette.
Yeah. Fiero's not that, but he's a guy that like he's like like one of my buddies recently over the weekend. He had been keeping a cooler in his car, and there was like water in the cooler, and then his car started to smell like shit, and then he realized like the water in the cooler went bad, and like the smell just permeated his car, and it smells disgusting. Not to say that Thiero is a disgusting type of guy, but he has that type of influence, I think, where it's undeniable, where you can't help but notice it because of his aura and his presence and how he carries himself and how he plays and how competitive he is. And Corey, also something with him that I liked was I thought offensively, like when he started going downhill with the ball, I thought he was really explosive. Like I actually thought he had a really good first step, and like he's like dribbling and then suddenly he's in the lane. And I was like, oh, damn, like that looks nice and was really quick. So I'm with you, man. I think Thiero, like we just have to look at him almost as an incoming freshman, because just look at last season as a redshirt freshman year. He was pretty much with the team, but didn't get to play much. I know when Severe Wheeler went down, he played a little bit more, but still, it wasn't like a lot. He wasn't playing heavy minutes. So I'm excited to see what type of numbers he puts up with this weird Kentucky team. And also with them losing Shibwe, I think they're going to depend on him a lot to rebound. Like Shibwe was such an influential rebounder. I think Thiero is going to have to be a big part of that as well. So I'm excited, man. I think he could end up being, like you said, one of the top guys at Kentucky and may end up being a better prospect than some of the other names. And they have some like weird names there, like Reeves is going to play a lot and shoot a lot. And they brought in Mitchell, that transfer from West Virginia, who's going to shoot it a ton and, do stuff. So I don't know even. Yeah. They're going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely forceful driver. When he gets ahead of steam, like he's coming to tear the rim down. He doesn't care if you're in the way. He'll get fouled. He'll take that contact. A stud in transition.
Yeah.
Like just absolute beast there. I like that he can grab and go and take it himself. I just think he's going to make other guys better. Like, I'm not saying he's the exact guy. And I think when that I'm about to kind of compare him to, but I think, and also, when one of these guys has like a lot of success, we start comparing like everybody, trying to find the next one. But like, and he's bigger, so and might grow to be bigger too. But like Bruce Brown, he's just like this glue guy who like does all of these little things that makes other guys better. And I think that that's what Thiero is going to be for this Kentucky team. He's just going to be a guy that allows everybody else to be themselves because he's a low maintenance, high energy, just dude. And, that's what I really like about him and his game and why I find him to be so interesting.
Right there with you, man. I'm excited to see it.